I'm Greg Hunter. This is the weekly news wrap up for Friday, March 27th, 2020, the WNW 424. I want to start with the coronavirus and scientific evidence and scientists now coming up and saying that this is overblown. Now, this is what Gerald Celente was talking about in his interview this past week, and there's lots of people that can back him up on that. And I just want to start with this, and I linked to this story with these 12 renowned global experts in the write-up in the weekly news wrap-up on usawatchdog.com. For you YouTube people, you can go to usawatchdog.com and find this story. There's a link right here. 12 experts questioning the coronavirus panic. Now, this is Dr. Sucharit Bhakdi, a specialist in microbiology. He was a professor at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz and head of the Institute for Medical Microbiology and Hygiene, and one of the most cited research scientists in German history. And he says this, along with other things, but I just got this, cherry-picked this quote. All these measures are leading to self-destruction and collective suicide based on nothing but a spook. Self-destruction and collective suicide based on nothing but a spook. The response to this by global governments. There's a petition out with 500,000 signatures out that they want World Health Director General Ghebreyesus, who covered for China at the beginning, handled this wrong, undersold the whole thing. He also then later got the numbers way wrong, that they were way higher death numbers and infection numbers. The 500,000 people are on a petition that want him fired. Ghebreyesus of the World Health Organization, WHO. Another thing is, this is another story that happened this past week. The UK, did you know this a week ago? The UK, which had everybody to this day on lockdown, came out and said on 3/19/2020, COVID-19 no longer classified as a high consequence infectious disease. Why? Because of the mortality rates are low overall. So they've backed this way down. They went from tens of thousands to a lot less than that they now say. They've actually reduced it pretty dramatically, and I don't know why we're not hearing about that in the press. Is that because the press wants this to be bad? I mean, listen, I tell you all the time to watch the president's press conferences. Get the whole soundbite without anybody doing any editing. Watch the whole back and forth between people. One was a CBS reporter that came out and was talking about how, your staff says that we shouldn't, have the country opened up. The president, wants to open the country up by Easter. And he says the country's not made to be shut down. He sees what's happening. This is a disaster financially, and it's man-made. And she says, well, your own experts are saying, to shut it down. He says, listen, you write fake stories. It was a female from CBS and another. You write fake stories. She's like, they do. They're propaganda. They're antagonists. They're not there to report. They're there to make the president look as bad as possible. And he says, a lot of you in the media would like the economy to go really badly, so I would win in November. I think he's right. Remember what Bill Maher said? I'd love to tank the economy to get Trump kicked out of office. Well, here we go. I don't think Trump's going to get the blame for this because this virus comes from China. This idea that he's a racist for calling it the China virus. I mean, the Lyme disease came from Lyme, Connecticut, says the president. And, this virus came from China, and the president is going to brand China with this virus because of their response, their opaqueness, them not coming forward, them not being helpful. And then on top of that, the World Health Organization covered for them, made this a pandemic, period, the end. And it could have just been a normal a virus. Was it a bioweapon? I don't know. But it's not as deadly as advertised. Let me continue with that. This is one of the 12 people. Dr. Pietro Veranza is a Swiss physician specializing in infectious diseases at the Catanol Hospital, St. Gallen, and professor of health and hygiene. Listen to this now. So now we have data now. We have actual data. It's been a few months. We have reliable figures from Italy and a work by epidemiologists, which has been published in the renowned science journal Science, which examined the spread in China. And this makes it clear that around 85% of all infections have occurred without anyone noticing the infection. 90% of the deceased, let me just get this here. 90% of the patients are verifiably over 70 years old, 50% are over 80 years old. Listen, I don't want old people to die from this. Yeah, but I want correct data. I mean, this thing came out and, oh, millions are going to die. This is going to be worse than the Spanish flu. No, it's not. It's not even as bad as the normal everyday flu, and this according to the CDC. They're out saying that 2018 flu killed more than the China virus will in the USA. The flu has been way more destructive than this COVID-19, China virus, whatever. And the flu regularly exceeds whatever the coronavirus deaths are protected in the USA. This is according to the CDC. And you already have the people in the UK already ratcheting this down. We have data now. And, you know, there's been great success with this hydroxychloroquine and the Z-Pak. And there's a peer-reviewed study out of France. This isn't some people just guessing. These are doctors administering this. There's another doctor, 350 patients, no intubations, no ventilations, and 350 people basically cleared. It helped pretty dramatically. But this isn't being reported. What is being reported is there's a governor in Nevada, and I think one other governor, saying you can't use a chloroquine. I'm going to outlaw that. Why? Do they want this to be really bad? Maybe they do. Here, and then we have this, Gordon Brown, who's a former, the UK Prime Minister, calls for global government to tackle coronavirus. Now, Brown has urged the world leaders to create a temporary can turn into permanent, form of global government to tackle the twin medical and economic crises caused by COVID-19 pandemic. Well, I think the crisis for the business crisis, which is clear, businesses are in crisis. We already had a problem before this COVID-19 China virus, whatever you want to call it. We already had a problem with the Federal Reserve and them pumping out $60 billion a month in QE in September 19, and then taking over the repo market because the banks didn't trust the collateral, so the Fed had to take it over, and they were pumping out, in some nights more than well over $100 billion. They've come up with a longer-term repo because, people can't pay back overnight, and it's going on today. This was going on before the coronavirus even happened. And then you have mainstream financial television saying, the economy was strong and it was just all virus related. And that's what I'm hearing all day today. Listen, you're in financial reporting and financial television, and that's a lie. I mean, you don't know the Fed, that something broke and the Fed had to start pumping out $60 billion a month since September of 19, that the Fed had to take over the repo market because something broke, something was wrong. They lost control, and you're saying, the economy was strong. No, it wasn't. And this is either stupid reporters or reporters reporting too stupid to be stupid. We had a problem that's clear. That's on the Federal Reserve website. That's not what I think. And then we have this, which anybody watching this should be freaking out. Now, the market's back up. Yay, we printed some more money. So the Senate already put out, passed more than $2 trillion called stimulus package, which it really is a debt package, with the House to follow soon. The current national debt is $23.6 trillion, according to the debt clock. Add that $2.2 trillion, you got $25.8 trillion that's going to happen at the stroke of a pen. We're going to be up over $25.8 trillion with the stroke of a pen. That doesn't count the $21 trillion in missing money that was such a hoax that they had to make it a national security issue for you to find out about. This was done by Dr. Skidmore, a professor of economics at Michigan State University, also propelled greatly by Catherine Austin Fitz at Solari.com. She has all the records over there from the Office of Inspector General reports they used to compile that, and it's a massive amount of money. And listen, this is what you should take away from this. Did they cut any programs? Did they cut anything? Did they say, okay, we can spend this money and give people unemployment benefits and all whatever? And there is some pork in there. Also, but there's also a very interesting thing in there. Get that to in a minute. Did they cut anything? No, they don't intend to pay this back. They never intend to pay this back. They're talking about more stimulus program. Biden's already out there. We're going to get the Green New Deal in the next round of this, and it's going to get the next round of this. We're just going to get the next New Deal. I will tell you that the Kennedy Center got money, National Public Radio, NPR got money. The arts got money. They were going to put more, socialist Marxist stuff in there, Nancy Pelosi, but they were going to look bad. I'll tell you something very interesting. They say, well, there's no money for the wall. There are money for, refugees that was given to the State Department. It was $300 million. And, the Republicans added another $50 million. Hopefully they'll bring Christians over because they've been concentrating on Muslims. But there's a lot of Christians that are seriously in jeopardy with, Muslims wanting to kill them. But one thing was very interesting in the budget. And that was $10 billion that went to the Pentagon. And when I first saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, that's the wall money. Didn't the president just win a Supreme Court decision that said, yes, he can use money from the Pentagon and he can build a wall for national security or anything else. He can use money to do any emergency action he wants to secure America. Yeah, and they got $10 billion. So they say, oh, he didn't get any money. He's just going to transfer it out of the Pentagon. And as Gerald Celente said, who made a great case that this was, way overblown. He said the border issue is done. Well, now it's going to be done. They're going to continue to build the wall, and now the Pentagon can't even complain about it. Even if he leaves the Pentagon and he replaces the couple of $1 billion he took from the Pentagon, he's going to end up with $6-7 billion to build a wall. They didn't give anything to the Department of Homeland Security or Border Patrol, which they should have, but that, maybe they're going to use that Pentagon money for that. I don't know. But I guarantee you the Pentagon money is going to go, at least some of it, to the wall. It's pretty brilliant, and they got the Democrats to bite down on it. They had to give them some pork, which is what my cartoon's all about at the USAWatchdog.com about Nancy Pelosi and her pork package. But, the Republicans are for that too. But back to the thing at hand. Listen, they do not intend to pay any of this money back. It's going to be hyperinflation, which I don't think that's the sole thing. It's going to be total debt default, which I don't think that's going to be the total thing. Or it's going to be a combination of the two. Bing, that's my vote. It's going to be like, right now you got JCPenney's. People are talking that they're not going to reopen. Macy's not going to reopen. Sears isn't going to reopen. You're gone. Oh, Boeing, we're going to keep you. You're gone. We're going to keep you too, you banks. You're gone. That's what's going to happen. But the money that they need to prop up the industries and companies they want to keep is going to be phenomenal, along with all the unemployment benefits for all these jobs. You wonder why. Everybody's in this, we're printing money, great, yay, oh, it's great, fantastic, oh, we're printing money, oh, we're saving ourselves with printed money. And then you have Fitch going, Fitch warning USA's AAA rating at risk for near-term negative action. That's printing all this money. And what is that going to do to interest rates? Could they rise uncontrollably? Could the bond market take a huge hit? Could inflation take off like a rocket? Yes. That's just what comes to mind to me. This is a real story, folks. They're considering USA's AAA credit rating. Now, I don't know if they can put pressure on these people. We already had S&P do the same thing. They took a beating over that. But, and I don't want you to think I'm coming off as some big negative anti-Trumper. Listen, he came into office with 40 some odd trillion dollars in overt and covert debt. He wasn't. If you try to pay that off, and you try to cut everything back to pay that off, the economy is going to, do just what it's doing under this COVID thing. He's going to set the country up. He's going to place judges. He's going to get the military set. He's going to get everything as fluffed up as he can to take the country into some sort of reorganization. I think that's coming in his second term. If he wins, and I think he's going to, because, listen, the public thinks he's doing a good job of handling this crisis. And I think he is. I mean, this is yet another deep state globalist scam. I think the way it's looking out, the numbers are saying that it's an overblown reaction, and they're just destroying the economy. That's what the doctors are saying, and the cure is going to be worse than the disease itself. They're going to have people in suicide lines, people losing their homes, and the money that they've come up with isn't enough money. It's just not enough money. I mean, and do you think they're going to print more money? Which do you think that's going to help out? Do you think at some point our dollar breaks, inflation shoots up, bonds, interest rates? Alan Greenspan warned about this, about interest rates shooting up uncontrollably. I mean, the last time they got away with it, and people think, if I ask you, how much do you think they printed for the banks in the last 2008, 2009 meltdown? People think it's $1 trillion. There was TARP, and, there was TALF, and, there was an $800 stimulus package with Obama and the Democrats in White House. And, okay, a couple of $1 trillion, overall over 2 or 3, 4 years. Of course, there's QE1 and QE2 and Operation Twist and all the overt and covert, all the interventions and criminal liability and market rigging and suppression of gold and silver and volume discounts at the CME and rigging the futures market, the LIBOR, the rigging the money markets around, your forex markets, all that stuff. But if I was going to ask you, how much do you think? Really seriously, how much do you think? Take a guess. Put a number in your head. Okay. Well, for the banks, and this is an amazing thing, the size of the bank bailout alone, $29 trillion. This was a CNBC story. You can look it up for yourself. It's December 14, 2011. A pair of PhD students at University of Missouri, Kansas City, UMKC, tried to assess the total size of the Fed's commitments, not just the loans made, but the asset purchases as well. The bottom line, a Federal Reserve bailout commitment in excess of $29 trillion because of the 2008-2009 meltdown. You wonder why Fitch is thinking about cutting our ratings. $29 trillion. That's just for the banks. I'm trying not to be overly crazy. I just try to put out the stuff I can source. That was a CNBC story, $29 trillion. There's other stories done on this too. You think they're going to do another $29 trillion? Think they might have to do $60 trillion? I mean, who knows? We're in cartoon world. And everybody's, oh, look, the market went back up to 22,000. Oh, it's up another 800 points. This is what it takes to get the market to go up. I'm scared out of my brains for this stuff. I know I tell you not to fear not, but I worry about this. I'm not worried because I have the grace of Christ. Okay, so that's really got a right statement. But I know what's going on, and this is the stuff I can source. This isn't what I think. I just sit around with a tinfoil hat on all day and think that well, they're printing tens of trillions of dollars. Did that, documented. Well, they did some hidden money too. Did that, 21 trillion at least, documented with Office of Inspector General reports from Department of Defense and HUD. They did that. And then they made it a national security issue. You wonder why I say get real stuff under your direct control. I mean, you look at what's going on. I don't know how this $2 trillion or I don't know how many trillions it's going to take to, they're not really fixing the economy. The fraud has to be wrung out. They need to go back to the Glass-Steagall Act, which they disappeared with the Graham-Bliley-Leach Act in the year 2000. Clinton signed that just before he left office. But, I mean, U.S. vehicle sales are U.S., not China. China's 80% down. U.S. vehicle volumes are down 50 to 75% in March. And what do you bet home sales have tanked along with manufacturing, huh? You think 2 trillion is enough? I'm not saying we shouldn't help people, but listen, as far as the 29 trillion, did some people pay back some loan? Yeah. Did AIG pay back some money? Yes. Yeah. They shouldn't have been selling unregulated derivatives like that in contracts and insuring things they couldn't pay off on if it ever blew up. But did they pay some money back? Yeah. But listen, trillions upon trillions of dollars were not paid back. That's why the inflation rate really around America is 10%. This is according to John Williams. Overall average. Some areas it's 14, some areas it's 8%. Overall average. And then we have this, which tells you, man, a record 3.283 million Americans just filed for unemployment benefits. And I'm reading here, and many are reporting the system is so clogged up that they can't even file a claim. I mean, what does that look like on the chart? Here's what it looks like. 3.8 trillion, filing all at one time, okay? So here we have, unemployment claims, unemployment claims, unemployment claims, unemployment claims. Boing! Ding, 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 ding. Bottle rocket, straight up. That's what that looks like on a chart. Are you getting how serious this is? I mean, it's stunning, really stunning how bad it is. And I am glad Donald Trump is at the helm. I am. Eventually, listen, folks, we're going to have some sort of jubilee, giant debt default, massive spike in interest rates, derivatives are going to blow up. This is all stuff that happened long before Donald Trump ever got into office, okay? This stage was set, this candle was lit, and they're just trying to keep it from blowing up. They're just trying to, that's what they've been doing. I'm surprised they were able to pull this off for 10 years, but, trillions of trillions of overt and covert money printing and suppressing of everything and ignoring the law and allowing, the financial markets to be suppressed or propped up by money printing or overt and covert criminal activity and you name it, and telling the CFTC don't regulate and the SEC keep watching porn. Just don't regulate. CFTC, you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do too, and you get what I'm saying to you. You're on your own. Buy real stuff. And then on top of that, this was brought up in the press conference today. Boy, Trump didn't want to talk much about it. And I don't blame him. But they said, oh, hey, Washington brings narco-terrorism charges against Venezuelan president. They're saying that he's a narco-terrorist. And if you harken back, this was the same charge for Manuel Noriega. Remember him in Panama? Just before President Bush, that's number 41, ordered a U.S. invasion in 1989. China and Russia are big players in Venezuela. One thing the Democrats and Republicans can probably agree on is that we don't want China and Russia to take over Venezuela. I mean, for the oil, the people are in abject poverty. They're eating zoo animals. They're in big trouble down there. Their currency is evaporated. Oh, yeah, they printed a bunch of currency. They printed tons and tons and tons of pesos or whatever it is they use. I think it's pesos. They printed tons of them, and now they're worthless. And if you'd have had gold and silver, you'd still be able to buy some things, especially silver, especially small increments of silver. That looks like the gold and silver markets are about ready to break, because we've heard this many times. But if you look at the stockpiles that you have of, at Kitco or my supplier at Discount Gold and Silver Trading, Melody Cedarstrom, or AppMex. I mean, there's not much there, and they're not charging $1,650 plus $50, but they're charging $1,750, $1,800. They're charging a lot for the gold. I mean, at Kitco, you could buy 10th ounce coins for about 10 coins would equal about $2,000. You could buy quarter ounce maple leafs, and that would equal about $2,000. But that's sold out. In terms of silver, the mint's going to come up with some more silver, but they're not selling it for the spot price 15 or 14 plus $3. They're selling it for, $6, $7, $8, somewhere between 22 and $25 over spot. A lot of people don't know if they can get their supply replenished. So I don't know. I do know that the phony COMEX LBMA price, which looks like that they're going to be really soon coming to a point where they're going to have to go, whoop, we can't deliver any gold and silver. That's what the talk is in the physical market. But the one thing's for sure happening is that the physical price is separating from the paper price. You go into a store and say, hey, I'd like to have a silver eagle. A, probably the guy can't get any. B, I'd like to have it for, like $18 a coin. It's $15 in me, a $3 commission. No, we can't do that. We're in the low to mid 20s. So the physical price is separating from the paper price. And why? Maybe because all this money printing we're doing, and it's not, listen, I've heard multiple people, Dana Perino says, if I'd have seen this a month ago, $2 trillion, I wouldn't have believed it. But now it's just, I don't know if it's enough. It's not. We just can't let anybody go to bankruptcy. We did away with bankruptcy with the Graham-Bliley-Leach Act. We separated the investment banking, the Goldman Sachs of the world, for them making risky, crazy, stupid bets. And they have FDIC insurance. You can't open an account there in Minneapolis or St. Louis or in Tampa, Florida, but they have FDIC insurance, just like Wells Fargo and JP Morgan and JP Morgan Chase and your local bank. They have the same insurance. So what happens when another one of these debacles, come down. More money printing? You wonder why Fitch is lowering America's credit rating. We're already printing $60 billion a month, which the financial news channels want to ignore. They figure if they ignore it, it's not happening. This is on the Fed's website, $60 billion a month. This is what they're admitting to. And they're in they've taken over the repo market. And some nights it's $100 billion. Some nights it's $30 billion. Some nights it's $50 billion. 50 a night. Oh, no problems. We had a huge problem when this started. So protect yourself. You don't have to go out and buy tons of toilet paper either. You should have some food. You should have some water. You don't know how long this is going to go on or if this man-made deal is going to continue or you don't know what's going to happen. You should be able to be self-reliant and protect yourself. My early Sunday release is going to be Bo Pony. A lot of people have asked for him. People, before, I had him on in the early, but September 7th, I think, 8th. And he said, hey, the market was topping right here, and something epic coming Wednesday. Well, that was the exact top of the market 160 points later, and people laughed. Jaff, laugh. That's why I came on with the nana poo-poo, stick your head in doo-doo thing, because I caught all kinds of grief. I had to delete comments where people were cursing me out and telling me I've lost my mind and my credibility and everything else. And then this big plunge happened. Now, I know it worked its way back up to where it's no longer in bear market territory, as they've been saying all day Thursday on the financial news channel, but only down 20% in a matter of, a few weeks? And it only took a couple of $1 trillion to bring it back up. Like we didn't invent the internet again, or the cure for cancer, or some way to mine gold off of asteroids, or some metal that's not even on the periodic table. But no, just printed money. And he says we're going to get a bounce, and he talked about this in the September 8th presentation, 7th, 8th, release at the 8th, the evening of the 8th, the morning of the 8th, and he said, we got this bounce, and then we're going to get another cratering. So, my thing is, we just did $2 trillion. Okay, now what? I just can't see it going up to all-time highs again. I had one friend of mine who I've had on for years say that, you've been saying this for 10 years. You're just overly negative. I've been reporting on how they've been propping up this Ponzi scheme for 10 years, and it's been one crazier thing after another, including all the way down to secret money that they made a national security issue to find out about it. And that's just what we can source, what we know. And so if you're thinking about taking some risk off the table in this next bump up that we're going to have, maybe you should. If you got profit, take it. I'm not my money manager. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm telling you what Bo Pony says is the cycle. He's going to talk about gold and silver, which he thinks is going to do quite well, stocks, bonds, and also the second coming of Christ. I kid you not. He is an analyst of time. He puts a biblical spin on it. He is very interesting, and he's been right. And I'm going to put him on for the early Sunday release. Okay? I appreciate what you're doing for me in terms of all your comments, and you've been very, very helpful, except for the trolls. But it's kind of a backhanded compliment to have a paid trolls assigned to your website and to your YouTube channel, just to try to detract and to diminish what you're saying, because it's the truth. But I appreciate all your nice comments. The nice comments are overwhelmingly way more than the paid trolls, and I appreciate your donations and support and just kind words. I appreciate all that. Thank you very much for supporting USA Watchdog. And remember, I don't tell you this to freak you out. I tell you this because I want you to be prepared. I want you to go, oh yeah, I heard this. I may not be exactly totally 100%, totally spot on target. I want to be close. But because we've never been here before. This has never happened in human history. Never. It's never happened. The world has never been in this indebted. We've never had derivative. We've never had all these, AI trading that can do a million trades in a second. What could go wrong? So we've never had this before, but I'm close, and I'm trying to book people that are even more insightful than me. I'm trying to book people that can give you kind of a guidance as to what's going on. And so far, you got to admit they've been pretty much right. Now they have extended this Ponzi. And that's what everybody wants to continue. They want this. I have some of my friends, they just want this Ponzi to continue. We want to get back to normal. Yeah, but they're printing all this money. I don't want to be back to normal. I want my stocks to go up. I don't want my real estate to lose any money. I want to be able to rent my buildings. I know, but we haven't had any hard times. I know, I want the Ponzi to continue, print money. I don't care. And it can only work so long, folks. I mean, at some point, the iron lung, the lungs just turn black, and the blood just turns some crazy black color, and the corpse just starts rotting. And you just can't keep the dead corpse, the dead economy alive anymore. You can't. And this is where we are. I've been doing this since 2009. I'm almost never. I'm surprised. At this point, I'm never surprised. But what they've done, what I've learned, what I can source, is unbelievable. It's off the charts. And you're not being told about this. You're being at press conferences. Do you think you're being racist by calling it a China virus? I mean, my God, if that person worked for me, yeah, Mary, Bob, or whoever. Yeah, when you come in, you turn in your press credentials. You're done. You're not going to be in the White House anymore. Okay? You're asking stupid questions. I'm not paying you to ask stupid questions. Okay? Thank you. Clink. Right? I mean, these people are stupid. This is propaganda. But I only run USAWatchdog.com. So with that, I just want to say, prepare yourself mentally, physically, and above all, spiritually. And I mean that. Christ is real. He is scientifically and journalistically well-sourced. He really did live and die and rise again. Well-sourced, documented. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, above all, spiritually. God the Father, His Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit are all firmly in control. And please fear not.